Hello everybody, my name is Tad Statistic. Today we're going to be bringing you some benchmarks on the GTX 1080 Ti. We're going to be running this at two different resolutions, 1920 by 1080, and then we're going to be running it at 3840 by 2160. And that is the absolute highest resolution that I could find on any of my games. So you guys sit back and ready to have your minds blown by the power that this GTX 1080 Ti has. The absolute lowest frames we saw in DayZ was 82 frames, which is pretty good running at 1080. And then the highest we saw was 195, and compacting all that data, what the average was around 100 frames. Now going into the 3840 by 2160, on an average we saw around 60 frames per second. On a low we saw around 40, and on a high we saw around 78. Then hopping right into the next one, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Now keep in mind this game is still a little unoptimized, so it runs a little weird. But now we are running at 1920 by 1080. Basically I did the same test for both. I jumped out with all of the AFKs and just flew straight to the bottom. Now while playing this super unoptimized games, the lowest we saw was 47, the highest we saw was 67, and the average we got was 50. And running it at 3840 by 2160, we saw a low of 30, a high of 64, and an average of 43, which is interesting because we saw an average of 50 running at 1080p and a low at 47. So if you start weighing the pros and cons, you're actually getting kind of better frame rates, but you're using 100% of your GPU running it at 3840 by 2160. You can run it at that, but don't come crying to me if you burn down your house. Sadly, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on PlanetSide 2, even though it is a really fun game in my opinion. Sadly, running at 1080p compared to 3840, they ran almost identical, except the only difference was that running at 1080 ran about 20 to 30% of your GPU, and then running at 3840 you're using about 90% of your GPU. So you're getting the same performance at different resolutions. If you guys would like to see any more games benchmarked, go ahead and drop those down in the comment section. But if you want to see more, go ahead and subscribe. And if you like the video, hit that like button.